My dear students, yesterday we were discussing on democracy. So, we should identify democracy. We have to tell to another person what is democracy, how to identify features of democracy, we call it. If you want to tell about your friend to somebody, how to tell about him? This much height, this much wide, his face is round shape or flat shape, he has got a mark on one side, his eyes are of what color. So they are called features of the person. The same way democracy has got some features, identifying marks. First one we can see, the persons who take decision should be elected, not nominated or not by hereditary post. He has come to that post by the election process of the people. That's the first identification mark of a democratic government. Second identification mark, you have studied it. It is a free and fair election. The person should be elected and another person should get equal chance to come to that post. According to Indian situation or as per Indian constitution, a person who has crossed 25 years of age and who is a citizen of India and not being treated in mental hospitals are not declared a pauper by the government, by the court or a government, is eligible to be the Prime Minister. So all citizens. So naturally there should be free and fair elections. Everything should be equal for everybody to compete and reach a position. That's the second identification mark of a democratic system. If there is some, not all, only some category people, or this much qualified person only, or this is a postgraduate degree he should have. He should have this much income in his pocket. If we put the restrictions, then it's not. And elections, those who are got a might, they only participate in elections. So free and fair, equal chance elections are to be held. Then only we can say it is a democratic. The next one is one person, one vote. You know, there are richest persons in the world and we don't know who is the poorest person. In India, if you consider it, Mr. Mukesh Ambani is said to be the richest person in India. There are so many people who are casual laborers or different jobs. But when Mr. Mukesh Ambani or any other person go to the polling booth and vote, when vote is counted, The weight of Mr. Mukesh Ambani's vote is not higher, or vote of an ordinary person is not smaller. Both are equal. So whether you are rich or poor or educated or illiterate, anything, one vote and one value. There are some countries in the world, there are differences of values that we have discussed in the class. I'm just revising it. Fiji, like that. Some countries are there having value for different persons different. The inhabitants will have 2 votes value, and those who have come from outside and settled will have a 1 vote for 1 value for 1 vote. So that difference. Okay, so that is one of the identification mark of a democratic system. That means one person, 1 vote, and each vote will have 1 value. Then next one is rule of law and respect for rights. Who rules? Not the individual, the law. Law rules. When a law is applied, it should be applied to every person equally. That is known as a rule of law. Whether he is in possession or he is not in possession, an ordinary citizen, if anybody has done a mistake, the punishment should be the same. That is known as a rule of law. The person who is in a position should not give judgment according to his whims and fancies, according to the rules and regulations that are accepted by the society, and that is applicable for everybody. That is the next criteria of a democratic system. When kings were ruling, there was no rule of law, rule of person. Whatever comes out from his mouth, whatever he feels right, that is not a democratic system. That is what we must understand. So some of these identifications, marks are there. You know, there are countries still claim to be democratic but really not democratic. China, citizens have no free choice. There should be many political parties or many candidates to choose. If a 100-meter race is there, only one person is to run. Naturally, he is eligible for first prize. There is nobody is for second, then what to do? And only one person is qualified, or only one person is permitted to run. And the persons who make rules and regulations make so many rules and regulations or restrictions and say only one person is eligible to run. So that is not right. Everybody should have equal rights to get elected. Then only we can say there is a chance of democracy. So there should be constitution. Why constitution is needed? Sometimes when you discuss with your friends, you say, hey, tell me, where is the rule? Why I should not do this? If you are one making noise and you say, and your friend say, please keep quiet. Yeah. Who are you to tell me where is the rule that I should not talk? Where is the rule that I should not dance? Tell me, show me the rule. So once the rules and regulations are written and is applicable for everybody, all the members are bound to follow it. That is what we call it a constitution. Rules and regulations are necessary and needed to have a democratic government. So that's importance for democracy. See, when a king is ruling, there is no rule of law. There is not compulsory there should be rights to be protected or accepted by everybody. If all these things combine together, we will have a democratic government that is needed for society. But there are some talks, some discussions why democracy is not good. Some people, there are drawbacks. Don't think that 100% perfect. No, nothing is there 100% perfect. There are drawbacks. One is frequent change of the leaders in democracy. After 5 years or after 10 years, new leaders come. So it takes the new leader to adjust. Time is being wasted. That's the problem of a democratic system. It's a competition, power play. Who is very strong and who can influence the people, he gets elected. Whether he is able or talented is immaterial. Whether he has got a concern for the people is immaterial. Whether he is ready to look after the government is immaterial. Whether he is able to manipulate or make the people to feel happy and get himself elected. That's also a problem of democracy. And taking delay in decision. Because if a decision has to be taken in the parliament, majority members in the parliament should agree. The political party should agree. Then the cabinet should agree. The president should agree. And when it is made in Lok Sabha agree, they should be made by Rajya Sabha to agree. So many consultations and discussions and debates, it takes time for any decision. When we come to plus point, we'll discuss. But that's one of the problem of a democratic system. It is not compulsory that the elected person should be knowing the best of the people. They may be selfish. They will have their own interest. That also chances are there. So in a democratic system. It can be in another system also same way that we are. So these chances are there. So one of the drawback of a democratic system. Corruption. We hear a lot about it. So once they are in power, they corrupt. So much corruption is there in the system. So that is also part. It is there in other system also may be there, but in this we feel it is there. So that is also a drawback of democracy. We cannot eradicate corruption from the system. Ordinary people, illiterate, ignorant, they may vote for anybody with knowing or without knowing. If the people are actively participating in democratic system and knows correctly about to whom she should vote and knows correctly what should be done, then a democratic system will function properly. But many times people don't vote. Even they don't come for voting also. That is also another great problem.